altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19.
But you remove a mother's heart. You removed my heart.
Tonight on Primetime, a weekend of violence in Atlanta, leaving families grieving, but one mother refusing to spread more hate. Her message to the person who killed her son.
And a dip in Georgia's coronavirus cases didn't last long. We'll have more on the state's second highest daily case numbers on record.
And later, a special invitation for a flight attendant who went above and beyond to make a teenager with autism feel welcome.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
We begin on this Tuesday night with new video on the shooting death of an 8-year-old girl.
The reward for information has also been increased to $20,000. Celestia Turner was killed Saturday night. She was in the car with her mother and a friend. They were turning into a parking lot on University Avenue, close to the Wendy's near where Rayshard Brooks was shot and killed when an armed group confronted them. Someone opened fire, hitting the little girl. Now investigators are looking for a person of interest, so take a look at your screen. He was seen carrying an AR-15, and police say they are looking for at least 3 additional suspects.
We've been getting a lot of Crime Stoppers information, and I want to say thank you to the public that is coming forward and providing that information, and we hope that will continue, especially with the increase of that reward up to $20,000.
And as mentioned, that $20,000 reward is for helping police gather tips and possible evidence that finds this person of interest. You're asked to contact Crime Stoppers Atlanta if you have any information.
Atlanta's interim police chief says the violent holiday weekend in the city was the result of what he calls a perfect storm. People stuck at home, weeks of unrest, and guns in the streets. Interim Chief Rodney Bryant says it all piled on and ended with 31 people hurt in shootings all across Atlanta. 5 people died. He also says no one from the governor's office talked to him before making the decision to call in the Georgia National Guard.
Tonight, he is weighing in on the state's response and the actions his department plans on taking moving forward. Caitlin Ross spoke with him today.
Chief Bryant says his officers are frustrated and heartbroken by the recent rash of violence in the city, and they want to work with the community to change it.
It is so heart-wrenching for us to lose any life, but to lose the life of an 8-year-old is so tragic.
Chief Rodney Bryant says the memorial for Rayshard Brooks stood for weeks at the Wendy's where he was killed because people were going there to pay their respects and mourn his death. But the site often turned violent, with armed citizens putting up illegal barriers for traffic. 8-year-old Sequoia Turner was shot and killed Saturday when her parents tried to drive through one of them.
We had people that were out there peacefully for a number of days, and this negative culture, this aggressive culture took over, and took advantage of this family and killed this innocent child.
He says Atlanta police were monitoring the situation there closely and had already disbanded the agitators once last week before this tragedy.
We addressed that and had no concerns up until this particular day. And our actuality, being that we were monitoring this location, as soon as we got information that they had began to put things in the street, and before we can get resources over there to clear it up, this incident occurred.
Bryant says Secoria's death rocked the department that has dealt with one crisis after the next for the past month.
There's not room for us to actually recover and breathe.
He's encouraged that the Atlanta police officers keep showing up and says they'll keep working to make Atlanta a better place to live.
We are getting better, and it takes this whole community. It's not just a police concern. It's not a police matter to get us into a better space, but we have to get there collectively.
He told me he's met with every single group who's asked him to sit down and talk about how to move the city forward. He says he's open to meeting with anyone who's committed to that same vision.
The city started to clear the Wendy's on University Avenue yesterday. The mayor took a hard stance after eight-year-old Sequoia Turner's death. A group of people who have been gathered around the burned out Wendy's for weeks want people to know that they have nothing to do with her shooting and they don't condone it. We spoke with a member of the group that calls themselves Ground Zero.
We don't condone none of that. And two, I barely have some sleep over it because I got 5 girls. And I hope just to get served. But what I want the world to know that us as Ground Zero, as the ones who've been there, had no interfering with that shooting. And I want the world to know that.
He also says seeing the memorial for Rayshard Brooks taken down yesterday was hurtful. They've been calling for a community space to be built in place of that Wendy's, but so far the owner of the property hasn't commented on what plans are for the space. The group did admit that at some points people at the site have been armed and blocked roads. Their argument, though, is that they don't do this to scare the community, that they're trying to protect each other.
Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms says she is against Governor Kemp's decision to bring in the Georgia National Guard. He announced the state of emergency yesterday, activating up to 1,000 troops with the goal of helping police patrol and cut down on violence. Mayor Bottoms says it was not needed.
We have been coordinating with the Georgia State Patrol, which we do on any number of occasions. Law enforcement agencies coordinate, and we provide assistance to them. They provide assistance to us. But at no time was it mentioned that anyone felt that there was a need for the National Guard to come in.
The mayor and her husband, one of her children, have now tested positive for COVID-19, and she says that she had no symptoms and is still able to lead the city. One of the most devastating shootings from the past weekend occurred on Auburn Avenue. 14 people were shot while they were just watching fireworks. 2 later died. One of the victims, only 20 years old, Latasha Givens, spoke to his mother today. This is such an emotional piece, and she talks about the loss for their family.
The call you never ever want to get is the call I received. And I cannot express the pain that I'm enduring right now.
Sherilyn Ingram is grieving the loss of her 20-year-old son, Joshua. He was one of 14 people shot on Auburn Avenue while watching fireworks with friends.
You guys out there, you have to stop the violence.
Joshua stood at 6'6", but his mother says he had an even bigger heart.
That gentle giant, always smiling, always hugging.
She says giving hugs was the first thing he did anytime he entered a room.
I just can't help but to hear, Mom, come on, bring it in, bring it in.
Joshua grew up playing football, running track, and volunteering at church. Ingram says Joshua was a sophomore at Georgia State University at Perimeter and wanted to become a mechanical engineer. APD says no arrests have been made, but this mother, in the middle of her grief, has a message for whomever took her son's life.
But you remove a mother's heart. You removed my heart. I don't even know you. You took my baby, but I love you. In my heart, I love you. And I want you to know God loves you too. And you're going to live with Joshua's name on your tongue. You're going to remember Joshua Ingram.
Well, your 11Alive storm trackers tracking some isolated showers and storms tonight. So not everyone is getting rain, but we do have some pretty good downpours still out there this evening, particularly in Fannin and Gilmer County, where the rain has been coming down as heavy as 2 inches per hour. Of course, these storms are moving to the south at around 15 miles per hour right now. Also in through Floyd County, we're seeing some heavier downpours at the moment. Here in LJ, we're seeing that rain as well. And that's going to continue as we head into the next 30 minutes or so. So here in Floyd County, you can see how the rain moved just off to the southeast of Rome, and still the skies looking pretty foreboding there as we're seeing the dark skies and those gusty winds and some heavy downpours with some of these cells that move in. And we're going to continue to see these move over Lake Lanier into Sugar Hill, moving just east of Roswell into North Fulton right now, and also across the south side. Some scattered activity, but nothing organized whatsoever. So we're going to continue with this general pattern the next few days. So that means possible thunderstorms. Right now, 9 strikes of lightning in the past 15 minutes all across North Georgia as we head into the evening hours. That threat will continue. And what we have is a frontal boundary here, but most notably that area of low pressure we've been watching that came out of the Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to be making its way to the Carolina coast as we head into this weekend. National Hurricane Center watching this one, saying that it has a 40% chance of developing in the next 5 days and now increasing to a 30% chance in the next 48 hours. And as it moves in that direction, it's going to continue to keep us unsettled through the end of the week and into the weekend. So coming up, we'll talk about the likelihood of it becoming our next named tropical system, that area of low pressure, and how it's going to continue to impact our weather here.
An Atlanta City Council meeting spanning more than 24 hours, most of the time spent listening to public comments, even through the middle of the night. As 11Alive's Joe Hinkie reports, the majority of the comments focused on police reform, something that's being considered by the council.
1,251 comments running nearly 18 hours. That is what the Atlanta City Council started listening to Monday afternoon. They took a break at 4 a.m. this morning before picking it back up at 10 a.m. And on top of listening to all of those calls during a marathon City Council meeting, the council also considered and voted on police reform issues. After a violent weekend in Atlanta with 31 people being shot and 5 killed, the City Council hit play during its virtual meeting on hours of public comments they received.
My question is, what is the mayor and the council doing about all the violence that we've seen in Atlanta over the past few weeks? Because, you know, what's currently being done is obviously not enough.
And I hope that the professionals with the expertise in policing will become involved so that the public can better understand the unintended consequences of changes to the use of force rules.
Many of the comments focus on the issue of what callers referred to as the Rayshard-Brooks bill, a proposal to reallocate $73 million from the Atlanta police budget to other community-based initiatives.
Vote yes on the Rayshard-Brooks bill. Under no circumstances do we want the city council to remove or move funds from the police.
The idea failed to pass last month, but Councilmember Antonio Brown tells 11Alive he's reintroducing the item and it could be up for a vote in 2 weeks. During the multi-day meeting, council passed the following: the 8 Can't Wait measure to overhaul APD's use of force policies with the goal of reducing the number of violent police encounters. The council also expanded the investigative authority of the city's Citizens Review Board, approved Juneteenth as a paid city holiday, and agreed to find a permanent location for a Black Lives Matter mural.
We have an entire story on the 8 Can't Wait police reform measures and what they mean for Atlanta on 11alive.com.
Coming up next, we saw a small dip in COVID-19 cases following the holiday weekend, but now the numbers are surging again. We're looking into the state's second highest day of cases on record.
And don't forget, we are streaming right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. You can subscribe and get in on the conversation in the community section. There's more 11Alive news in primetime after the break.
Some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Tonight, there are calls for U.S. Senator Kelly Loeffler to step away from the Atlanta Dream, the WNBA team that she co-owns. She recently wrote a letter to the WNBA commissioner. According to NBC News, Senator Loeffler was explaining her opposition to players wearing Black Lives Matter and Say Her Name slogans on warm-up jerseys. She writes in the letter about the need to take politics out of sports, saying sports have to be the power to be a unifying antidote. She says she does not support what she calls the Black Lives Matter political movement, saying it wants to defund the police, remove Jesus from churches, and promotes violence and destruction across the country. This has not gone over well, as you would guess, with many current and former WNBA players. The Players Union responded today on Twitter, simply saying enough, out. The league also responded with a statement saying teams and players will continue to advocate for social justice, adding that Senator Loeffler is no longer involved in the day-to-day business of the team. The senator begins a campaign trip across the state of Georgia tomorrow.
A moratorium on evictions in the city of Atlanta has been extended now through the end of August. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms reissued the executive order today. It's meant to protect people who have lost their jobs during the COVID-19 pandemic and keep them from losing their homes as well. The order is set to expire August 31st. Clayton County schools leaning towards a decision to go fully digital this fall. School Superintendent Dr. Morcease Beasley says that the decision is not yet final, but the increase in COVID-19 cases statewide is concerning.
We've got a lot of families who are concerned about the virus. We've got a lot of employees who are concerned. We've got a lot of members in the community who are concerned. And right now, the data is not too encouraging relative to getting this thing under control.
All right, and we'll have much more from Dr. Beasley in the next hour of Primetime.
Well, we're watching that same area of low pressure that's moving across East Georgia right now. We've been watching it since the weekend when it was actually south of Panama City, and now it's making its way to the other coast, towards the Carolina coast. And as it makes its way in that direction, it's keeping us unsettled with a lot of tropical moisture out there. The air is rich in moisture, so when we started to see things pop, we saw some heavy downpours associated with these cells moving to the south right now. You can see some of the heaviest rain has been moving in through Gilmer County. Some of these cells have been producing as much as 2 inches per hour. And also over into Floyd County, they've scooted right past Rome now, and we're seeing them move in towards Cave Spring with some very heavy downpours as well, and a little bit of lightning. For some reason, I just kind of scooted by that shot in Rome. Here's a close-up at the flags flying and the darkened skies here over the horizon as those storms move off to the south. So we're looking at a few showers here near Cartacay as well as over towards Sugar Sugar Hill, and not much here on the south side at the moment, but it is possible as these cells move to the south, some of these outflow boundaries could cause a few more storms to form. Right now, not a tremendous amount of lightning, but 9 strikes across North Georgia in the past 15 minutes alone. And there's that area of low pressure along that stationary boundary. This is the low that moved out of the Gulf Coast, moved up over the weekend, and now is making its way in towards the Carolinas as we head into next weekend. So that's going to keep us unsettled through the end of the week. So what we're looking at here is a high of 87 after morning low of 73, and we should be around 89 and 71 this time of year. So our temperatures the last 20 hours or so have really gone up there. 87 degrees was our high temperature today, and now we're starting to cool it down a little bit, but no organized cooling here, no organized line of storms marching in, cooling all of us off. Only a few of us have gotten some cooling relief, like in Blairsville, 74 degrees, 71 in Clayton, 84 in Duluth, 83 in Atlanta, and dew points, look how high they are, 74 in Peachtree City, 72 in Athens. So when you get dew points in the 70s, that tells you it's a tropical air mass. So that's going to make things very sticky and keep the atmosphere loaded for possible storms. So as we head into the next 12 hours, we're going to continue to see that chance for showers and storms. For tomorrow, we have a 6 on your wasometer on that scale of 1 to an 11, with an 11 being a perfect day. 70 should be our low. We should get into the upper 80s for a high temperature. And then tomorrow, again, in the afternoon hours, we're going to see those chances for storms going up between around 30 and 50% during the afternoon, and temperatures getting back up into the mid to upper 80s. So as far as what we're expecting to see tonight, notice we have these showers still moving from north to south. After midnight, things should start to quiet down a bit, and it looks like tomorrow morning should start out dry. This is tomorrow morning around 7:30, and we'll have a few clouds out there, but things won't be very active until the afternoon hours. Once we get that daytime heating in here, we'll start to see more in the way of those showers and those storms as we head in through the afternoon and evening hours. And I think that'll be the trend as we head into Thursday as well. No tremendous changes in the pattern, mainly afternoon and evening storms as we head into our Thursday. And here's a look at your 7-day forecast, and it looks like I don't have the screen quite adjusted here, so I'll just scroll it for you there. 50% chance of showers and storms as we head into our Wednesday, 30% chance on our Thursday and Friday, 20% chance for the weekend. And notice, as a chance for storms go down, those temperatures, yep, once again, they're going to be going back up in the low 90s.
Georgia has crossed a grim milestone in our battle against COVID-19. Today, we hit more than 100,000 coronavirus cases statewide. Today's numbers are at a near record level with more than 3,400 new cases reported. That is the second largest increase to date. It's not just the number of cases that are soaring, so are the numbers of people with severe symptoms. Today, there are now more than 2,000 people in the hospital with the virus, and that is a new record. Today, it's Cobb County seeing the biggest increase in the state with 225 new cases. The dotted line is the county's average. And other than a dip over the holiday weekend, cases in Cobb continue to go up at a rapid rate. We have all the very latest data on coronavirus in Georgia broken down on 11alive.com. You can also check out our interactive map, which shows where the state's hotspots are.
One flight attendant gave a senior with autism a lifelong friend in his flight attendant, and he recently invited her to a very special ceremony.
And as we go to break, happy anniversary to President Carter and his wife Rosalind. 74 years together. That's more than 27,000 days. Last year, they became the longest married presidential couple in history. Mrs. Carter rejected President Carter's first proposal, and she made a promise to her father that she wouldn't marry until she finished college. She got her degree when she was 18, and that was the year they married. President Carter was 21 at that time. We have a virtual anniversary card for them on the 11Alive Facebook page. You can leave your well wishes in the comments.
From 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact.
You never know the impact a kind conversation can have. One such thing on a flight started an amazing friendship for a boy with autism and his flight attendant, and she just got a very special invitation. Sean Giggy with our sister station in Dallas has our Hero Central story for you tonight.
Thanks to this pandemic, graduates of Central High School in Keller were only allowed a handful of guests.
Garrison!
For Garrison Christie, that included his closest family, friends, and flight attendant.
Just a few minutes on a plane changed his life in getting this amazing friend.
It's from the war.
Yeah. Garrison is autistic. He loves airplanes, and last year, on a flight from Chicago to Dallas, he wanted to tell flight attendant Erica Connolly all about them.
So I was excited to interact with him and hear, let him tell me everything he wanted to share about flying.
When the plane landed, they didn't even have a chance to say goodbye. Everyone went their separate ways, expecting they'd never see each other again. Until the next day, when Garrison got a delivery at school.
It was a book with a note that read, "I was your flight attendant. My dad's a pilot. We really love airplanes too. We found this old airplane guide, and I thought you should have it."
I always try to be just a little bit kinder than what is necessary. I think that if more people took that approach in life, the world would be a little bit of a better place.
Not everyone can be as nice and understanding. So when just for her just to do that, it was seemed so amazing. Because
since then, their friendship has reached a whole new altitude. Garrison got to see inside a Southwest flight simulator, and Erica's dad let him wear his Air Force flight suit. Erica, who's also a photographer, took his senior pictures wearing that suit. It all meant so much to Garrison. He didn't even hesitate when he was told he could only invite 5 people to graduation.
Before he even got to a family member, his first selection was Erica.
She's my favorite.
Any flight attendant can make a passenger feel safe, but only a special few can make them feel loved.
I wish Garrison had a lot more Ericas in his life when it comes to friends. We all need a lot more Ericas in the world.
Imagine the places we could go.
Great story. Well, ahead, the push for students to get back to the classroom is growing, but how feasible is it really? We're taking a look at how schools are prepping for the new year across the country.
help patients in need by joining 11Alive, the American Red Cross, and Budweiser at the Atlanta Hawks Blood Drive, July 10th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. To make an appointment, visit redcrossblood.org. Sponsor code AtlantaHawks.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
New tonight, Immigration and Customs Enforcement says foreign students must leave the country if they are taking online-only classes in the fall. The changes to the student and exchange visitor program says if a student's classes go online, they must find an in-person program or leave the U.S. They won't get their visas renewed for online-only classes. Now, students who are taking a mixed model of online and in-person classes will be limited to 3 online credit hours as long as they submit a form to the SEVP. Students will have the option of taking online courses back in their home country, but cannot stay in the United States and take those same courses. We've reached out to several of Georgia's top universities about what that means for them and how is this all defined. We'll let you know when we hear back.
Now, this all comes as the president is pushing schools to go back to normal in the fall. NBC's Susan McGinnis is following the latest for us now from Washington.
As the U.S. races toward a startling 3 million coronavirus cases, the nation's schools are rolling out plans for the fall, learning tough lessons on keeping students educated but safe.
This is a really crucial time for their social and emotional development.
With outbreaks linked to large gatherings, schools at all levels are wrestling with whether to keep students at home. Princeton, Georgetown, and Harvard universities announcing half or less of students will be allowed back on campus, trying to avoid what's happening right now at the University of Washington, where more than 120 students connected to a fraternity house have tested positive. And as cases soar in Florida, the Education Commissioner commissioner ordering in-person learning for all school districts. In Texas, San Antonio schools adding days to the calendar, just like other systems add snow days.
If we have outbreaks at schools where we can shut down a school for a number of days and still make up that time.
President Trump continuing to downplay the risk and insisting schools must open.
We're very much going to put pressure on governors and everybody else to open the schools, to get them open.
The administration warning international students, if your school doesn't hold in-person classes, you'll have to leave the country. That on the same day, Dr. Anthony Fauci warns we're still living through the first wave of coronavirus.
We are still knee-deep in the first wave of this.
While different schools will offer different plans, all students can expect school to look a lot different this year as educators learn how to deal with the pandemic.
New guidance for Georgia's colleges and universities. The University System of Georgia says starting July 15th, all faculty, staff, students, and visitors must wear a face covering while inside campus buildings. Now, this is mandatory in cases where 6 feet of social distancing may not always be possible. This includes the University of Georgia, Georgia Tech, Georgia State, and Kennesaw State. Face coverings are not required in a dorm room or suite, or if you're in a room by yourself or an enclosed office or study space. Those who do not comply will be asked to wear one or leave the area. We have a detailed list of fall plans for Metro Atlanta school districts up on 11alive.com so you can track them down easily. Just search for this headline.
Work for teachers, it never stops. Right now, many of them are trying to figure out how to tackle either partial or full remote learning in the fall. Katie Inman is with our sister station, WBIR, in Knoxville, Tennessee. And she shows us how one teacher is building an entire virtual classroom for her students in the fall.
It's the time of year when teachers start getting prepared for a school full of students. But this year, it's much different. Instead of unlocking a classroom, it's more of opening the computer.
So usually decorating that classroom, but this year I'm decorating my virtual classroom.
This is what second grade teacher Olivia Tapper is talking about. A virtual classroom is just like a regular one, but with a cartoon Bitmoji teacher and interactive lessons linked within a picture.
Students can click on pictures and books and baskets inside your little virtual classroom that'll lead them to any kind of links or websites or their assignments or anything like that.
It's also the students can make a positive adjustment to the potential of online learning in the fall.
That's why we're doing the cutesy stuff, to make it easy for your students. It's fun for us, but it's also we always have your students' interests in mind.
Teachers all across the nation are doing the same thing, and they're sharing ideas in a Facebook group called Bitmoji Craze for Educators.
Post after post after post of people sharing all these different things they're doing in their virtual classrooms, and they're sharing it all for free.
While educators are still waiting on exact plans for what they need to prepare, teachers like Mrs. Tapper will be ready regardless.
My goal is I'm either prepared to be virtual, totally virtual, or I'm prepared to really integrate the technology in my classroom if we're in person.
I'm meteorologist Samantha Moore, one of your 11Alive storm trackers. And boy, we've been watching that same area of low pressure for days now. And now it's over the eastern part of our state, still bringing in kind of a counterclockwise flow of showers and storms. So they're moving from the north-northeast to the south-southwest today. And some of them have been pretty heavy. Most folks haven't seen the rain, but where they've seen it, it's been coming down pretty heavily at times here, as much as 2 inches an hour here near Crandall, as those cells move to more to the west at this point. And we're going to end up seeing the winds start to shift as we head into the next 24 hours, and that low continues to move away from us. These storms that move just southeast of Rome now moving towards Cave Spring with some lightning and some heavy rain. We had some storms move across Lake Lanier, now moving through North Fulton, so expected in Roswell very shortly. On the south side, it's been fairly quiet out there this evening, but we still have that opportunity yet tonight for more isolated showers and storms to pop. Looks like there's one near Peachtree City now. 8 strikes of lightning in the last 15 minutes, so not incredibly active, but still we could see that chance as that low continues to meander slowly to the northeast this evening. And it's going to end up most likely along the Carolina coast, where it is a 30% chance of developing the next 2 days and a 40% chance the next 5 days somewhere along the Carolina coast. Of course, the Gulf Stream is there. That's warm water, and that can really give it a little little boost, and maybe it will become our next named system. If it does, it will be Faye. So that will be the 6th named system of the season. You know, and on average, we have 12 named storms, and Colorado University just updated their forecast today, Colorado State, up to 20 possible named storms. That's what they're predicting, so a well above average number. Hurricanes, we normally have 6, they're predicting 9. So you get the picture. Not all of these storms will probably make landfall, but they are expecting an uptick in the number. So coming up, we'll talk about how the system that we're watching will affect us as we head into the weekend.
Next summer, the city of Atlanta will host a high-profile women's golf championship for the first time. Maria Martin has all the details.
On the week of June 22nd of next year, the KPMG Women's PGA Championship will take place at the Atlanta Athletic Club with one of the highest purses in women's golf history, $4.3 million, with $645,000 going to the winner.
So it's returning to Georgia at the largest possible scale. That's going to be cool to see from a network coverage perspective, just to see the game and the women's game being championed in that way.
LPGA golfer Mariah Stackhouse, who calls Atlanta home, couldn't be more excited for the platform this will give women's golf.
A home state in my backyard in the Atlanta area. So that's going to make it incredibly special to me in and of itself. Georgia has such a rich golfing history. A lot of golfers come out of Georgia, men and women.
It's the first ever KPMG Women's PGA Championship to be played in the state of Georgia.
With the LPGA being the highest circuit of professional women's golf, the young women and ladies that play in the state, we haven't had an event come through for us to go and showcase the LPGA talent and professional women's golf. It's going to be incredibly special.
And Stackhouse thinks bringing a women's major to Georgia will help encourage younger ladies to join the game.
Here's Mariah Stackhouse.
I think it's just going to show, like, hey, you know, the game of women's golf is growing, and I hope the end result of that is even more girls signing up and getting interested in playing the game of golf.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
It's hard to wrap your head around just how contagious any virus is, but when it comes to coronavirus, people really want to know. So our sister station in New Orleans looked into the measurement that scientists use to figure it all out.
R0 is a number that represents how quickly a contagious disease is spreading. To understand it, all you have to do is think about the number 1, a single case of coronavirus. If the R0 is above 1, that means every person with the illness is infecting more than one other person. And that means the disease is exponentially increasing. So let's do the math. If the R0 number is above 1, like 1.5, that means each sick person is infecting 1.5 other people. Let's take a group of, say, 100 people, all tested positive for COVID-19. 100 people would infect 150 people. Then each of those 150 would infect 1.5 others. So now 225 people are infected. That group then infects another 337. At that rate, by the 10th generation of the disease, or a little less than 2 months' time, the total number of newly infected people would rise from 100 to 5,766 people. But now let's see what would happen if that number is less than 1, say 0.8. Now, each sick person would pass the disease along to fewer than one person. So let's go back to that same group of 100. With the R0 number being 0.8, that group of 100 would only infect 80 people. Those 80 would infect only 64 people. They would only infect 51 people. So after about 2 months, the number of newly infected people would fall from 100 to 11. In a little over 2 months' time, it's all but vanished. The tough part is doing the work needed to reduce the R0 number, and no one is saying the virus will disappear anytime soon, if ever. But experts do say wearing a mask, washing your hands, and staying out of crowds can help the R0 number, and the number of new virus cases get smaller and smaller.
We are 11Alive storm trackers watching those incredible clouds. We've had the best clouds this summer, I'll tell you what, and we saw some of them today. This is looking up towards Kennesaw Mountain there from 75 to 85. Look at the lift in the atmosphere, the bubbling here, as there's a lot of tropical moisture in the air. So we continued to see that through much of the day, looking to the north and also looking across the city of Atlanta. You can see how those clouds were just briskly moving across, sometimes dropping some brief heavy downpours across North Georgia. And Locust Grove, Anitra Martin posted this picture. She's one of our 11Alive storm trackers, and you can see just how laden with moisture those clouds are as she made her way down the roadway there. So we're seeing that area of low pressure continue to spin over eastern Georgia, bringing in occasionally some showers and storms. So not everyone is seeing this rain, but where it is coming down, we've seen some decent downpours here across Gilmer and Fannin County, now moving in across 75 here with some decent rainfall. Also, they move through Floyd County and now moving in towards Cedartown. We have a little bit more rain heading in your direction. We had some move across Lake Lanier, now moving into North Fulton. So Alpharetta seeing that shortly. And here down to 85, we're seeing some showers develop with some heavy downpours. So even this late in the evening, it's possible to see some new development, and those will be moving into Noonan very shortly and potentially into Peachtree City. So you can see the general circulation around that area of low pressure. That's going to continue to move to the east. So by tomorrow, our winds are going to be more out of the west. So we'll be looking to that direction to see showers and storms form. Temperatures today, 91 in Rome. They did not see the rain early enough, so their temperatures made it into the low 90s. 87 in Atlanta and in Peachtree City. 85 in Athens. It was overall a couple degrees below average in most locations. winds. Right now we're at 75 in Gainesville. They've had a little rain there. 77 in Canton and 79 in Dalton and 82 in Peachtree City. So what we're looking at in terms of the moisture, why it's so humid, when you get dew points in the 70s, that tells you there's tropical moisture in place. 74-degree dew point in Peachtree City right now, 75 in Canton. So there's plenty of moisture out there. So if we do see showers form, they could produce some very heavy downpours. And the ground is saturated. We have an abundance of moisture with over 13 inches and 3/4 ahead for the season in the bucket at the airport. So we're looking at temperatures overnight, very mild, cloud cover in place, an occasional shower or thunderstorm. Better chance during the day tomorrow, particularly during the afternoon and evening hours when we have the best chance, about a 30 to 50% chance of showers and storms. And again, we should be well into the 80s. So there are those showers and storms you see to the north. They're going to continue to move off to the south as we head into the next few hours. We could see an occasional thunderstorm in middle Georgia as well. And as we head into tomorrow morning, I think we'll have a dry start to the day. There'll be clouds out there. It'll be sticky. It'll be humid, but I don't think we'll see active rain early in the morning. During the afternoon, yep, they'll pop up again. All we need is a little daytime heating, and we'll see them moving out of the west as we head into tomorrow and into early Thursday. And then once we get into Thursday afternoon and evening, yep, we'll see some more heavy downpours, about a 30% chance on our Thursday and our Friday. So scattered storms out there tonight. Rain chances will be going down as we head towards the weekend. Not totally out of the forecast, but minimal, and getting hotter as the chance for rain goes down. The chance for hot temperatures goes up. In fact, we're back up in the 90s by Thursday and Friday, staying there for the weekend, which is a 20% chance of showers and storms. Could still see a thunderstorm or two. And then as we head into the beginning of next week, it looks like those rain chances sticking at about 30% and hot and humid conditions sticking around.
As airlines welcome customers back to the sky, safety is front of mind for everyone. So how safe is the air you're breathing on a flight? What Delta has to say about those concerns next.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
The coronavirus pandemic dealt a devastating blow to the airline industry, wiping out most travel for months, but demand slowly is picking up. In fact, over the holiday weekend, the 4th, U.S. Airlines set a daily record for the number of passengers since the beginning of the outbreak. So what's being done to ensure passenger safety? Here's NBC's Blaine Alexander.
Air travel is once again starting to take off.
How are you feeling today about getting back on a plane?
Pretty good.
You're feeling good?
Excited.
But in the age of COVID-19, fear of flying still lingers.
4 nights of service in New York, LaGuardia.
I'm nervous.
Why?
A little nervous. Just being in that enclosed space with a lot of people.
With people coughing and sneezing and then it's going through the air.
But just how does air quality work in flight? The air you breathe on board is a combination of fresh air brought in from outside and filtered air that's recirculated through the cabin. The air flows from top to bottom, not side to side between passengers, meaning it comes in from the vents above and is sucked out through the vents in the floor. It's run through these heavy-grade HEPA filters, similar to those used in hospital operating rooms, which pull out more than 99% of particles in the air. That is mixed with fresh air from outside. Now, Delta Airlines taking new steps to ensure that cabin air is as clean as possible.
So there's a completely new batch of air that comes into the aircraft every 2 to 4 minutes.
Every 2 to 4 minutes.
On every aircraft, changing those filters twice as often as recommended.
You may notice that it's dirty on the top where the air has flown into the filter, but it'll be clean on the bottom side.
And what does that show us?
That shows us that the filter's working.
Experts say it's not likely viruses will be spread in flight.
It turns out the time on the airplane in the seat is actually the lowest risk.
So you're saying the air on an airplane is actually cleaner than you would find inside of a grocery store?
Yeah, it's cleaner than probably most people's homes or in schools.
But in close proximity, nothing is foolproof.
Certainly, we can't do all the physical distancing we'd want to on an airplane. So, there's no such thing as zero risk.
That's why airlines are requiring masks and upping their sanitation routine. Between every Delta flight, the entire cabin sprayed with disinfectant and wiped from top to bottom. New boarding procedures, loading from back to front, and a commitment to block middle seats through September.
There isn't any one action that we are taking that is the silver bullet, but when you layer in all of these mitigating actions, the probability with each layer, the probability of virus transmission goes down and down and down. And that's been our approach all along.
Atlanta police have released new surveillance video in the shooting death of an 8-year-old girl over the weekend. We will show it to you after the break.
Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on W.
As offices continue to reopen across the country, businesses are dealing with a post-COVID-19 surprise. Many workers want to keep working from home. NBC's Chris Pallone tells us why many companies are likely to let them.
Of all the surprises of the COVID-19 era, perhaps one of the biggest is how smoothly many American workers have adapted to working from home.
Most people thought that that would not work very well, or there at least were a lot of concerns.
But many companies report the opposite. Productivity is up, and now businesses are completely rethinking what it means to have an office.
Work from home seems to be the way of the future.
In fact, Kinsey found 70% of people say they are as productive, if not more productive, working from home. And a new Wallet Hub survey found that 60% of people say the pandemic made work better. 30% say the office is a thing of the past.
Actually, we're finding it to be a little more lucrative having people work from home than in the office.
Robert Westcott says productivity is up 2% at his company since everyone started working from home. But there are those who look forward to going back to the office.
Me, myself, I would love to go back.
Those people that do miss being in their physical office, they miss their coworkers the most, followed by some sense of routine, followed by just simply getting out of the house.
Consultants like McKinsey & Company are trying to help clients figure out what offices will be like when COVID-19 is finally gone. They say bet on companies leasing less space as more workers opt to stay home. There will likely be fewer offices and cubicles and more unassigned desks, plus more conference rooms and open spaces. So workers can do what they can't at home, meet face-to-face with their coworkers.
Right now on Primetime, COVID-19 showing no signs of slowing down in Georgia. The state now topping 100,000 cases as people still struggle to get tested.
We're getting better, and it takes this community. It's not just a police concern to get us into a better space.
Atlanta's interim police chief talks about what it's like for officers during these volatile times and reforging trust with the communities they serve.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
We're going to begin tonight with new video in the shooting death of an 8-year-old girl.
The reward for information has also been increased tonight to $20,000. Sequoia Turner was killed Saturday night. She was in the car with her mom and a friend. They were trying to turn into a parking lot on University Avenue near Pryor, close to the Wendy's where Rayshard Brooks was shot and killed. When an armed group confronted them, someone started shooting, hitting the little girl. Now investigators are looking for a person of interest. Take a good look at this video here. This person of interest was seen carrying an AR-15. Police also say they're looking for at least 3 additional suspects.
We've been getting a lot of Crime Stoppers information, and I want to say thank you to the public that is coming forward and providing that information, and we hope that will continue, especially with the increase of that reward up to $20,000.
And as mentioned, the $20,000 reward is helping police gather tips and possible evidence to find this person of interest. You are urged to call Crime Stoppers Atlanta if you have any information. 11Alive is committed to following this investigation and efforts to bring closure and healing to the community. Check out the 11Alive app for the latest updates. And coming up in about 5 minutes, hear about steps city leaders are taking to curb the violence.
Another big story tonight, the continuing rise in Georgia cases of COVID-19. As of today, there have been more than 100,000 confirmed cases in our state since the pandemic began. So the state also announcing an additional 3,406 new COVID-19 cases, our second highest day on record. And as this graph here shows, cases have continued to rise for more than a week, with a record number of daily confirmed cases reported last week. Now, over the past few days, many viewers have reached out to us frustrated. They've had trouble trying to schedule a test and get those test results.
Reveal investigator Andy Parati spoke to an infectious disease expert about the impact of the state's testing capacity.
The federal government does not have a national testing strategy, which means states like Georgia are pretty much left on their own to do their own testing or relying on private commercial labs. While Georgia has dramatically increased its availability for testing over the past few months, the surge in new cases has impacted people's ability to easily get a test and the time it's taking to get results. Here's some perspective. One of our producers tried to schedule a test in DeKalb County through the State Department of Public Health on Sunday. The soonest appointment available was 16 days away. The state health department's response was simply to try another county. DeKalb County confirmed that the demand for testing is up and that people are showing up prior to their scheduled times, which is increasing wait times. The state says it is maximizing its public labs to get results as soon as possible, but admits private labs are overwhelmed. Some viewers tell us they're waiting 5 or more days for results, while others say they're getting their test results back in 24 hours. We asked Dr. Jay Avarki his perspective on the state's current testing capacity. He's an infectious disease expert at Emory University.
This is the new normal, and I hate that that's the case. I would love to say that we're kind of over the hump or that things will get better. Eventually they will, but we're still at the beginning of this pandemic, and I think that we need to prepare for the fact that when there are these waves, it will strain our lab services.
In your opinion, we do have enough tests in Georgia available?
We do. Okay. Correct. But again, if we don't get control of this pandemic, it's going to put strain on all of our ability for testing. And what might appear like a stable supply of tests today may end up being an inadequate supply 1 week or 2 weeks from now.
All right, you're going to find more analysis, context, and resources for coronavirus testing right here in our state of Georgia on our website, 11alive.com. And coming up a little bit later on, we're looking at how the numbers are changing the back-to-school plans for fall. And I'll be right.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Tracker, sitting here talking to about 300 plus people on Facebook Live right now. That's why you see my phone sticking up here in the shot. We're having a great conversation, a lot of comments coming over, and some folks are telling me where they're seeing some rain out there. And let me show you what we're seeing on radar. Again, this isn't a real organized system that's coming through. It's not like a line of showers and storms that rolls through and then it moves out. We just have some very tropical air over us, thanks to that area of low pressure that's down near Augusta right now, and that's spreading some of this moisture into our area, and it's just scattered showers that are moving through. We have a couple of spots that we're watching that have some heavy rain with them. First, these in North Georgia had thunder and lightning in Gilmer and Fannin County earlier. Those are starting to die out somewhat. Here in Metro Atlanta, we've had just a few spotty showers here. Also, not much going on inside the perimeter, but if you go down to the south here in Coweta County, we're seeing a good little bit of rain with some thunder and lightning that's drifting down toward the south. That's really close to the Noonan area. Also some showers in Carroll County. Haralson County, you've got a little bit of lightning with that as well. And this is that area of low pressure. When I put this into motion, you can kind of see that circulation here around that low. It's a counterclockwise flow. That's what's spreading that moisture back into our area. Now, let me show you what we're watching. This is a live look outside right now. This is our tower cam in Coweta County. I mentioned to you just a few minutes ago about those showers there. Downtown Noonan is dry right now, but look at those dark clouds in the distance. That rain is about to move into Noonan in just a little bit. Stay with us. We'll keep a close eye on that and let you know when additional storms could develop during the day tomorrow. We'll have that complete forecast track for you in just a bit.
National Guard troops deployed to Atlanta overnight after Governor Brian Kemp declared a state of emergency, all in hopes of preventing another spike of gun violence. This comes after a deadly weekend with 31 people shot and 5 people killed. Sherilyn Ingram lost her 20-year-old son Joshua during the violent holiday weekend.
The call you never ever want to get is the call I received. And I cannot express the pain that I'm enduring right now.
Joshua was one of 14 people shot on Auburn Avenue while watching fireworks with his friends. 2 of the 14 victims died. APD says no arrests have been made, but his mother, in the middle of her grief, has a message for whoever took her son's life.
But you remove a mother's heart You removed my heart. I don't even know you. You took my baby, but I love you. In my heart, I love you. And I want you to know God loves you too. And you're going to live with Joshua's name on your tongue. You're going to remember Joshua Ingram.
Ingram says Joshua was a sophomore at Georgia State Perimeter and wanted to be a mechanical engineer.
Well, the interim police chief of Atlanta says morale in the department is really low right now, but things are slowly but surely getting better after a violent weekend and weeks of unrest in the city of Atlanta. Now, while some officers have called out sick over the past few weeks, he told our 11Alive Caitlin Ross they eventually all came back to work and want to serve the city.
It has been very challenging. These men and women have had to be out on these protest lines under some of the worst circumstances where people are, spitting on them, throwing rocks at them.
He says the national news headlines that depict Atlanta as violent or unsafe are unfair.
The City of Atlanta Police Department is not a police department that is known for any type of biases. And in the community that we serve is generally very supportive of what we do and how we do it.
Chief Bryant says he was not given any advance notice that Governor Brian Kemp was activating the National Guard in response to the violence over the weekend, and says he still hasn't spoken with them.
I thought that it was a very interesting move. Was not aware that the National Guard would have been coming in. I've not had conversation with them to see what their strategy would be.
He says the department already has plans to keep the city safe and says he's committed to working with any group who wants to meet with him to move the city forward.
We've been in places before where the police department and the community we serve have not been aligned. And so what it requires us to do is to get together, have deep conversations and continuous conversation to get back in that alignment.
Later this week, Bryant says he'll be tested for COVID-19. Mayor Keisha Bottoms tested positive for the virus, and Bryant was with her just the day before at a news conference. But he says they were all wearing masks and practicing social distancing, so he thinks he'll be okay.
A Marathon Atlanta City Council meeting ended after council members listened to more than 1,200 comments from the public. The vast majority of the comments focus on police reform items the council voted on. And some, as our Joe Hankey found out, they're still considering.
The public comments came from across the entire city, and the Atlanta City Council spent nearly 18 hours listening to every single public comment. In those comments, they heard calls from people who want to have the Atlanta Police Department completely overhauled. Others want to have more training for officers. Some want the department defunded, and other callers said they want to actually have police funding increase. During the online Atlanta City Council meeting, which started on Monday afternoon and ended in the past hour, the council passed the following: the 8 Can't Wait measure to overhaul APD's use of force policies with the goal of reducing the number of violent police encounters. The council also expanded the investigative authority of the city's Citizens Review Board, approved Juneteenth as a paid city holiday, and agreed to find a permanent location for a Black Lives Matter mural.
Please think hard about defunding our police, as we have so much crime in our area, in our neighborhood, and in our city. We need as much police force as possible.
Vote yes on the Rayshard Brooks bill, which will hold some of the police budget in reserve to ensure the city does its job to reimagine our police department.
Many of the 1,251 callers who submitted public comments focus on the so-called Rayshard Brooks bill, a proposal that failed last month, but Councilmember Antonio Brown reintroduced during the meeting. He tells 11Alive it could be up for another vote in 2 weeks. The proposal would reallocate $73 million from the Atlanta police budget to other community-based initiatives.
All right, still to come, Georgia school districts are now scrambling to figure out plans for the fall as the president pushes for students to return to the classrooms despite the pandemic.
And don't forget, we are streaming right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. So if you want to take us on the go, that's where you can find us. You can even comment. Also, we're going to have more 11Alive news in prime time coming up after the break.
This email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. on 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscast not enough for you?
Clayton County Schools is leaning toward a plan to go fully virtual when school starts August 3rd. The decision based on the trend of coronavirus cases in Georgia. We talked to Superintendent Dr. Beasley, and he says it is the safest decision for the students and staff.
We find ourselves with data that's worse than it was when we started when we closed schools on March 16th. And so, I mean, how do you come back when the data is worse than it was when you closed on March 16th? So right now, we're looking at returning virtually, everyone being virtually, engaging virtually until we get this data going in the right direction. We prefer kids in school face-to-face. I do feel a sense of heaviness when it comes to childcare because I know that families need to work, and honestly, they need the children in school in order to get to work. And that is an area that I want our families to know in Clayton that we're working to address. We're trying to figure out some solutions.
Dr. Beasley is asking all families to please be flexible. There could be periods where kids split time between the building and home. The goal, back to school full time when it is safe. The state's largest school district is also making plans for fall. The Gwinnett County Board of Education just wrapped up a special meeting. The school board voted unanimously to slide the start date from August 5th to the 12th. That recommendation is on its way to the superintendent.
Well, President Trump is now pushing for students to get back into the classroom. He participated in an event today talking about how to make that happen safely. 11Alive's Jennifer Bellamy has more on what the president wants to see happen.
The president and first lady appeared together at the White House event called National Dialogue on Safely Reopening America's Schools. Now, the president highlighting the importance of getting students back into their classrooms this fall. He said it factors into the well-being of students and parents. The first lady speaking about the need for children to be around their friends, to have recess in those important academic studies. She also mentioned how important schools are for children with disabilities or special needs. Now, just yesterday, the president tweeted that Joe Biden and Democrats don't want kids to go back to school, he says, for political, not health reasons. But he says he's going to put on the pressure to make sure students are back in the classrooms this fall.
We hope that most schools are going to be open. We don't want people to make political statements or do it for political reasons. I think it's going to be good for them politically, so they keep the schools closed. No way. So we're very much going to put pressure on governors and everybody else to open the schools, to get them open.
Also at the event today, pediatrician Sally Goza from here in Georgia. She leads the American Academy of Pediatrics, as well as Jeff Bearden, the superintendent of Forsyth County School Districts. Now, Vice President Mike Pence also there, saying the CDC will be releasing several new documents as soon as next week to help offer new guidance that could include information on things like face coverings within school settings and various other areas as well. Right now on 11alive.com, we have details on all the Metro Atlanta school districts that have released their plans for returning to school in the fall. You'll also find what we know so far about the Georgia's colleges and universities as well.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Tracker, still talking with about 200 people on Facebook Live right now as I'm doing Facebook Live and TV at the same time. If you're watching on TV and want to be part of the conversation, we would love for you to go to my Facebook page, Chris Holcomb 11Alive. You can tune into the live chat with these other 200 plus people and join the conversation talking about the weather. And I'm having some confirmation from a lot of people on the south side about this heavy rain that is down 85 into South Fulton County, Coweta County, and Fayette County. Many people were reporting the lightning that we're showing up here as well. As you can see, with the entire parts of North Georgia and Metro Atlanta, we still have just mainly scattered showers that are moving through. In the city, we're okay right now. We had a few showers that came through earlier, but let me take you down here to Coweta, where you can see these showers that have developed right along 85. This is in near Noonan, right there at Coweta County, also Fayette County, southern parts of Fulton County. We have some of those heavier showers. These are drifting down toward the south. Additional showers in Douglas, Carroll, with some moderate to heavy rain. Also near Bremen, we had some lightning just a few minutes ago, but that's weakened just a little bit. But here is that heaviest rain. There's Noonan. This is just to the east of Noonan on 85 near Sharpsburg, Peachtree City, up toward Tyrone and into Palmetto. There in South Fulton, we have that cluster right there with some heavy rain. Most of the lightning is right there really close to 85. There's that additional rain that we were talking about over in West Georgia. And then in North Georgia, we've had a few scattered showers that have faded out a little bit in far North Georgia, Gilmer County and Fannin County. But north and east of the city, we had some showers around Lake Lanier. Those are fading out. But then these over in Jackson County holding together pretty well. Those are moving down toward the south. And then it's all moving around this area of low pressure, this counterclockwise flow that you see right here. That's the area of low pressure we've been watching for the past few days that originated in the Gulf. It's moving across land. It'll exit Georgia into South Carolina and then eventually make it out into the Atlantic, where it could become a tropical system. Here again is a live look out there right now, and you can see this. I know it's getting kind of dark now and it's harder to see those dark clouds behind the courthouse there in Coweta County, but you can see there in Noonan right now it's still dry, but just to the east of the city of Noonan, that's where you have those darker clouds. You just saw a little flash of lightning there in the background behind the courthouse. That's where we have that heavier rain and the thunder and lightning that's taking place right now. Temperatures still rather warm, 81 here in Atlanta, lower 80s in Marietta and Duluth, but 70s in Athens, Gainesville, Canton, even some 70s here south and west of the city as well. Tomorrow, another warm day. We get up to 87 degrees. We'll give that a 6 on the wasometer as we will see partly cloudy skies to mostly cloudy skies and those scattered showers developing in the afternoon. Now, we won't see a lot all at the same time tomorrow, but let me show you what we're watching. In the morning, this is at 6:37 in the morning, we will see a few pretty good coverage of clouds around. At noontime, a mixture of sunshine and clouds as the system, as this hot air, as the temperatures start to heat up during the day. There's a lot of moisture in place, so in the afternoon when we get up to 87, there's the potential for some scattered showers, but we don't think we'll see as many of those around tomorrow as we saw today. They'll diminish during the evening, and then as we head into Thursday, another dry morning to start. Lunchtime mainly dry, but then in the afternoon on Thursday, rain chances will be at about 30%. So not too bad of an outlook there as we go toward the end of the week. 87 for a high on Wednesday, 50% chance for showers, and that would mainly be in the afternoon hours. And then as we get into Thursday and Friday, we've got about a 30% chance for showers. But notice what happens when the rain chance comes down a little bit. The temperatures go back up to the lower 90s. And then right now, Saturday and Sunday, now I know we've kind of been tweaking the percentages for the weekend, going with a 20% chance Saturday and Sunday with highs in the lower 90s, back to 30% Monday and Tuesday, still with those high temperatures right around 90 degrees.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. You know, tonight there are calls for U.S. Senator Kelly Loeffler to step away from the Atlanta Dream, the WNBA team she co-owns. She recently wrote a letter to the WNBA commissioner. According to NBC News, Loeffler was explaining her opposition to players wearing Black Lives Matter and Say Her Name slogans on their warm-up jerseys. Well, she writes in the letter about the need to take politics out of sports, saying sports have the power to be a unifying antidote. And she says she does not support what she calls the Black Lives Matter political movement, saying it wants to defund the police, remove Jesus from churches, and promotes violence and destruction across the country. But this is not going over really well with many current and former WNBA players. The Players Union responded today on Twitter simply saying, "Enough OUT." The league also responded with a statement saying that teams and players will continue to advocate for social justice, adding that Senator Loeffler is no longer involved in the day-to-day business of the team. The senator begins a campaign trip across the state tomorrow.
One flight gave a senior with autism a lifelong friend in his flight attendant, and he recently invited her to a very special ceremony. As we had to break, happy anniversary to President Carter and his wife Rosalind. 74 years together, more than 27,000 days. Last year, they became the longest married presidential couple in history. Rosalind famously rejected President Carter's first proposal. She made a promise to her father that she wouldn't marry until she finished college. She got her degree when she was 18. That year, they married. Mr. Carter was 21. We have a virtual anniversary card for them up on the 11Alive Facebook page. You can leave your well wishes in the comments.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you. We hear.
You just really never know the impact a kind conversation can have on someone. One conversation on the flight started an amazing friendship for a boy with autism and his flight attendant, and she got a very special invitation. Sean Giggy with our sister station in Dallas has our Hero Central story today.
Thanks to this pandemic, graduates of Central High School in Keller were only allowed a handful of guests. For Garrison Christie, that included his closest family, friends, and flight attendant.
Just a few minutes on a plane changed his life in getting this amazing friend.
Oh, it's from the war.
Yeah.
Garrison is autistic.
Right there.
He loves airplanes, and last year, on a flight from Chicago to Dallas, he wanted to tell flight attendant Erica Connolly all about them.
So I was excited to interact with him and hear, let him tell me everything he wanted to share about flying.
When the plane landed, they didn't even have a chance to say goodbye. Everyone went their separate ways, expecting they'd never see each other again. Until the next day, when Garrison got a delivery at school.
It was a book with a note that read, "I was your flight attendant. My dad's a pilot. We really love airplanes too. We found this old airplane guide, and I thought you should have it."
I always tried to be just a little bit kinder than what is necessary. I think that if more people took that approach in life, the world would be a little bit of a better place.
Not everyone can be as nice and understanding. So when just for her just to do that, it was It seemed so amazing because
Since then, their friendship has reached a whole new altitude. Garrison got to see inside a Southwest flight simulator, and Erica's dad let him wear his Air Force flight suit. Erica, who's also a photographer, took his senior pictures wearing that suit. It all meant so much to Garrison. He didn't even hesitate when he was told he could only invite 5 people to graduation.
before he even got to a family member, his first selection was Erica.
She's my favorite.
Any flight attendant can make a passenger feel safe, but only a special few can make them feel loved.
I wish Garrison had a lot more Ericas in his life when it comes to friends. We all need a lot more Ericas in the world.
Imagine the places we could go.
The push for students to get back to the classroom is growing, but how feasible is it really? We're taking a look at how schools are prepping for the new year all across the country.
Help patients in need by joining 11Alive, the American Red Cross, and Budweiser at the Atlanta Hawks Blood Drive, July 10th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. To make an appointment, visit redcrossblood.org, sponsor code Atlanta Hawks.
Staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement says that foreign students must leave the country if they're taking online-only classes this fall. So the changes to the Student and Exchange Visitors Program says if the student classes go online, they must find an in-person program or leave the United States. They will not get their visas renewed for online classes only. So students who are taking a mixed model of online and in-person classes will be limited to 3 online credit hours as long as they submit a form to the SEVP. Students will have the option of taking online courses back in their home country, but cannot stay in the United States and take those same courses. So we have already reached out to several of Georgia's top universities about what this means for them, and we're still waiting to hear back.
And Ron, this comes as the president is pushing schools to go back to normal in the fall. NBC's Susan McGinnis is following the latest for us from Washington.
As the U.S. races toward a startling 3 million coronavirus cases, the nation's schools are rolling out plans for the fall, learning tough lessons on keeping students educated but safe.
This is a really crucial time for their social and emotional development.
With outbreaks linked to large gatherings, schools at all levels are wrestling with whether to keep students at home. Princeton, Georgetown, and Harvard universities announcing half or less of students will be allowed back on campus, trying to avoid what's happening right now at the University of Washington, where more than 120 students connected to a fraternity house have tested positive. And as cases soar in Florida, the Education Commissioner ordering in-person learning for all school districts. In Texas, San Antonio schools adding days to the calendar, just like other systems add snow days.
If we have outbreaks at schools where we can shut down a school for a number of days and still make up that time.
President Trump continuing to downplay the risk and insisting schools must open.
We're very much going to put pressure on governors and everybody else to open the schools, to get them open.
The administration warning international students, if your school doesn't hold in-person classes, you'll have to leave the country. That on the same day, Dr. Anthony Fauci warns we're still living through the first wave of coronavirus.
We are still knee-deep in the first wave of this.
While different schools will offer different plans, all students can expect school to look a lot different this year as educators learn how to deal with the pandemic.
All right, so some new guidance to tell you about from Georgia's colleges and universities. The University System of Georgia says starting July 15th, all faculty, staff, students, and visitors, they must wear a face covering while inside campus buildings. This is mandatory in cases where 6 feet of social distancing may not always be possible. This includes the University of Georgia, Georgia Tech, Georgia State, and Kennesaw State. Face coverings are not required in a dorm room or suite, or if you are by yourself in an enclosed office or a study room. Those who don't comply, they're going to be asked to wear a mask or leave the area. We have detailed the list of fall plans for Metro Atlanta school districts up on 11alive.com, so you can track them down easily. Just search for this headline.
Well, as you know, work for teachers never stops, just like for the parents as well, right? So right now, many of them are trying to figure out how to tackle either partial or fully remote learning in the fall. Katie Inman with our sister station out of Knoxville, Tennessee, shows us how one teacher is now building an entire virtual classroom for her students.
It's the time of year when teachers start getting prepared for a school full of students. But this year, it's much different. Instead of unlocking a classroom, it's more of opening the computer.
So usually decorating that classroom, but this year I'm decorating my virtual classroom.
This is what second grade teacher Olivia Tapper is talking about. A virtual classroom is just like a regular one, but with a cartoon Bitmoji teacher and interactive lessons linked within a picture.
Students can click on pictures and books and baskets inside your little virtual classroom that'll lead them to any kind of links or websites or their assignments or anything like that.
It's also the students can make a positive adjustment to the potential of online learning in the fall.
That's why we're doing the cutesy stuff, to make it easy for your students. It's fun for us, but it's also we always have your students' interests in mind.
Teachers all across the nation are doing the same thing, and they're sharing ideas in a Facebook group called Bitmoji Craze for Educators.
Post after post after post of people sharing all these different things they're doing in their virtual classrooms, and they're sharing it all for free.
While educators are still waiting on exact plans for what they need to prepare, teachers like Mrs. Tapper will be ready regardless.
My goal is I'm either prepared to be virtual, totally virtual, or I'm prepared to really integrate the technology in my classroom if we're in person.
We're still watching some of those showers, and some of them producing some thunder and lightning still, even at the 9:30 hour, as we're losing some of the heating of the day. Some of them still holding together, though, that are pretty active. Now, they're not classified as severe, and the one that's the strongest right now is south and to the west of the city, down 85 into the southern parts of Fulton County and into Peachtree City and Fayette County, and also into Coweta County. Not much going on inside the perimeter here, but let me take you down to this one cell. That's where we have that heavier rain. In South Fulton, over toward Palmetto, near Tyrone in Fulton County, right there along 74. Heavier rain as you get down into Coweta County with some thunder and lightning. We've got about 21 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes just out of that one lone cell that's moving through. Some additional showers over in West Georgia, Carroll County, near Whitesburg, in Carrollton, near Bremen, some scattered showers. Also over into Cleburne County in Alabama, Villa Rica seeing a few of those showers here. Those are just kind of moving more toward the south. Pretty slowly, not moving that quickly. Atlanta not seeing much, and then a few scattered showers over North Georgia. This one is producing some heavy rain and lightning coming out of Tennessee, moving into parts of Catoosa County and Whitfield County with some thunder and lightning and pockets of heavy rain too. And as we've been saying, this is all kind of rotating around that area of low pressure that's centered there near Augusta. That's going to be moving on over into South Carolina. Here's another live look. This is our tower cam in Coweta County. Again, no rain right on top of Noonan right now, but those showers are really close to Noonan, just to the east of the downtown area, where we've been seeing every once in a while on this tower cam some of those flashes of lightning there in the distance. Stay with us. We'll keep an eye on those showers and let you know if we'll see any more of those showers redeveloping during the day tomorrow.
All right, Chris, we'll see you in a couple of minutes. You know, with Europe trying to open up but banning incoming travelers from more than a dozen countries, the United States is among them, tourism looks quite different this summer. Still, there are plenty of international travelers anxious to get out and enjoy life amid virus safety protocols, and one cruise line in Germany hopes to make summer sailing attractive and lucrative. NBC's Sarah Harbin went aboard one of the world's first post-COVID cruises, leaving port in Germany.
U.S. flights are taking off again, but few are headed overseas after the EU extended a travel ban barring U.S. tourists and dealing a major blow to U.S. carriers, which typically earn far more on lucrative international routes than domestic ones. The skies are increasingly busy, but on the water, the outlook is less clear. The once booming $45 billion cruise industry is now fighting for its very survival. Major cruise lines, including Carnival, Norwegian, and Princess, have voluntarily suspended U.S. operations until mid-September, canceling ocean cruises through fall. But in Europe, the first handful of river cruises are cautiously resuming. This 5-day cruise down Germany's Rhine and Mosel rivers is only operating at 70% capacity, and boarding is now a lengthy process. First, there's paperwork.
Have you had COVID? No.
An antibody test.
All right, turn your hand around, please. And then I'll just put it right in the test area.
And a temperature check.
It's in green area. All right, so welcome on board.
All before you set foot on the ship. Meals look different too.
So this entire area, this would have been the buffet, but it's completely off limits.
Plastic dividers keep diners apart, and floor markings keep them moving in one direction.
Up here on the deck, passengers have a bit more freedom. They can even take off their masks as long as they stay at least 6 feet from their neighbor.
Still, there's no live music, no spa, and the swimming pool is off limits.
Was it hard to wear the mask inside?
Yes, the whole time. This is the problem.
With all the restrictions, it may not feel like a vacation.
What did you guys do? We had some dinner and some cocktails, of course.
For Americans, if and when cruises come back, they might look a lot like this one. Fewer passengers, closer to home, with limited activities and excursions. After months of lockdown, operators will be hoping that stringent hygiene protocols combined with simple pleasures will be enough to convince wary customers to return.
Next summer, Metro Atlanta will host the high-profile Women's Golf Championship for the very first time. Maria Martin has more.
On the week of June 22nd of next year, the KPMG Women's PGA Championship will take place at the Atlanta Athletic Club with one of the highest purses in women's golf history, $4.3 million, with $645,000 going to the winner.
So it's returning to Georgia at the largest possible scale. That's going to be cool to see from a network coverage perspective, just to see the game and the women's game being championed in that way.
LPGA golfer Mariah Stackhouse, who calls Atlanta home, couldn't be more excited for the platform this will give women's golf.
A home state in my backyard in the Atlanta area. So that's going to make it incredibly special to me in and of itself. Georgia has such a rich golfing history. A lot of golfers come out of Georgia, men and women.
It's the first ever KPMG Women's PGA Championship to be played in the state of Georgia.
With the LPGA being the highest circuit of professional women's golf, the young women and ladies that play in the state, we haven't had an event come through for us to go and showcase the LPGA talent and professional women's golf. It's going to be incredibly special.
And Stackhouse thinks bringing a women's major to Georgia will help encourage younger ladies to join the game.
Here's Mariah Stackhouse.
I think it's just going to show like, hey, you know, the game of women's golf is growing. And I hope the end result of that is even more girls signing up and getting interested in playing the game of golf.
As airlines welcome customers back to the skies, safety is on front of mind for everyone. So how safe is the air you're breathing on a flight? What Delta has to say about those concerns.
Mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth.
As you know, the coronavirus pandemic pandemic dealt a devastating blow to the airline industry, wiping out most travel for months. But demand is now slowly picking up. In fact, over the holiday weekend, U.S. Airlines set a daily record for the number of passengers since the start of the outbreak. So what's being done to ensure passenger safety, to keep you safe? NBC's Blaine Alexander takes a look behind the scenes.
Air travel is once again starting to take off.
How are you feeling today about getting back on a plane?
Pretty good.
You're feeling good?
Excited.
But in the age of COVID-19, fear of flying still lingers.
For nights of service in New York, LaGuardia.
I'm nervous.
Why?
A little nervous. Just being in that enclosed space with a lot of people. With people coughing and sneezing and then going through the air.
But just how does air quality work in flight? The air you breathe on board is a combination of fresh air brought in from outside and filtered air that's recirculated through the cabin. The air flows from top to bottom, not side to side between passengers, meaning it comes in from the vents above and is sucked out through the vents in the floor. It's run through these heavy-grade HEPA filters, similar to those used in hospital operating rooms, which pull out more than 99% of particles in the air. That is mixed with fresh air from outside. Now, Delta Airlines taking new steps to ensure that cabin air is as clean as possible.
So there's a completely new batch of air that comes into the aircraft every 2 to 4 minutes.
Every 2 to 4 minutes.
On every aircraft, changing those filters twice as often as recommended.
You may notice that it's dirty on the top where the air has flown into the filter, but it'll be clean on the bottom side.
And what does that show us?
That shows us that the filter's working.
Experts say it's not likely viruses will be spread in flight.
It turns out the time on the airplane in the seat is actually the lowest risk.
So you're saying the air on an airplane is actually cleaner than you would find inside of a grocery store?
Yeah, it's cleaner than probably most people's homes or in schools.
But in close proximity, nothing is foolproof.
Certainly, we can't do all the physical distancing we'd want to on an airplane. So, there's no such thing as zero risk.
That's why airlines are requiring masks and upping their sanitation routine. Between every Delta flight, the entire cabin sprayed with disinfectant and wiped from top to bottom. New boarding procedures, loading from back to front, and a commitment to block middle seats through September.
There isn't any one action that we are taking that is the silver bullet, but when you layer in all of these mitigating actions, the probability with each layer, the probability of virus transmission goes down and down and down. And that's been our approach all along.
We continue to watch those showers on the south side. They still have some thunder and lightning with them, pockets of moderate rain. And then on the north side, scattered showers here too. Another little surge coming in from Tennessee, moving into parts of Catoosa County and Whitfield County that has some heavy rain and thunder and lightning with it. I'll put this into motion. You can see how those are pushing in from Tennessee, moving down toward the south. And then not much happening in the city of Atlanta right now, but south and west of the city, that's where we have that heavier rain. It does include parts of South Fulton County, southern Douglas County there, parts of Carroll County, also here through Coweta County, Fayette County on the west side there near Tyrone toward Peachtree City. That's where we're seeing some of the lightning. Now we're watching the lightning count come down. It's now less than 12 for the past 15 minutes. And then we had some lightning near Bremen earlier. That's faded out. We do have lightning near Heflin, Alabama, parts of Cleburne County, a couple of showers in Randolph County near Wedowee. And those are moving down toward the south too. In Carroll County, Carrollton, you're getting a few of those scattered showers. Nothing inside the perimeter. And if you go up to the north, we do have a few showers that have been over Lake Lanier and in Forsyth County, North Fulton, but those are really falling apart as they move down toward the south. And then we'll watch these up 85, southern Hall County, also into Jackson County and Barrow County. Just a few moderate showers there too. Those are diminishing as they move down to the south, but then these still holding together pretty well with a lot of lightning in Catoosa County, moving closer to Dalton there in parts of Whitfield County. All week long, we've been telling you about this area of low pressure that was moving across Georgia yesterday, and then this weekend it was in the Gulf of Mexico. Now the center of the circulation, you can kind of see the counterclockwise flow here. The center of that low is near Augusta. It's going to move into the Carolinas tomorrow and then eventually out into the Atlantic, and that's where it could develop into a tropical system. But it's that counterclockwise flow that's wrapping some of that moisture back into our area, and that's where we're seeing those scattered showers. I want to take you again out there live. I know this is kind of a dark picture, but you can see the courthouse there in Coweta County. Downtown Noonan is not getting getting heavy rain right now, but just beyond the courthouse, that's where we saw those darker clouds. And every once in a while, I could see a flash of lightning here in the distance. Of course, nothing is showing up there right now with some of those showers that are moving through parts of Coweta County. Here is the center of that area of low pressure near Augusta, as I was mentioning, crossing over into South Carolina. This is going to keep crossing over South Carolina tomorrow and then make it out to the Atlantic. And then the National Hurricane Center giving this about a 50% chance of development over the next 5 days once it gets back out over water. If it does become a tropical storm, its name would be Faye. Now, I want to show you Colorado State University today updated their latest revised predictions for this year, and they're still seeing it's going to be way above average. On average, we would have about 12 named storms. Colorado State is predicting 20 named storms. On average, we would have 6 hurricanes. They're predicting 9. And then major category 3 or more or higher hurricanes, on average, we would have about 3 of those. They're predicting 4 of those major hurricanes. So here's a look at the weather headlines. We're going to continue to see some scattered storms. Rain chances tomorrow a little bit lower as those go down, and then it's getting hotter for the end of the week and also as we head into the weekend. So here's that 7-day outlook. 87 for a high tomorrow, 50% chance for showers, mainly afternoon and evening variety. Then only a 30% chance for showers Thursday and Friday with highs in the lower 90s. Right now, the weekend looking like only a 20% chance for showers, then back to 30% Monday and Tuesday. Throughout the end of the week and also the weekend and beginning of next week, high temperatures each day we think will make it into the lower 90s.
All right, I heard this story and I was like, hold up, what is going on? So we need to verify it for you. Did Chinese health officials report a case of the bubonic plague over the weekend? We've had our Verify team digging into the story to find out what's really going on. Here's Jason Puckett.
2020 has had some crazy headlines, from the current pandemic to murder hornets and sandstorms sweeping across the ocean. Now we're seeing headlines about the bubonic plague in China. So let's verify. First, was the plague found in China? We tracked down this report from a Chinese City Health Commission, and they confirmed that 1 case of bubonic plague was detected in a rural area of China on Sunday. So yes, we can verify the bubonic plague was detected in China. But second question, should we be worried about a 2020 Black Plague? Well, not really. We checked with the CDC, and it turns out that isolated cases of the plague happen every year. We actually have about 7 cases every year here in the U.S. People typically get the plague from fleas, which in turn get it from infected animals like rats. Now, the plague is serious and can even be fatal, but modern medicine means you don't really need to worry about a 2020 Black Plague. The CDC says human-to-human transmission is rare, and most cases are now treatable with antibiotics. Got other questions for us to look into? Send us an email. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by
America, we want to help you get back to it. With the Ford Promise. Visit your Ford dealer. Finance a new or used vehicle through Ford Credit, and if you lose your job, you can return it for up to 1 year from the day you bought it. The Ford Promise.
For 30 years, Original Mattress Factories put our customers first, and it's no different today. We've implemented new measures to ensure your in-store and delivery experiences are safe and as comfortable as possible. All of our employees will be wearing masks, social distancing, and implementing new protocols designed to keep everyone safe. Visit your local store or originalmattress.com to experience the OMF difference for yourself. See you soon.
Hi, Katie Osborne for Endurance. You know, I realize how blessed I am to work around cars every day. With as much as we rely on our cars, we're keeping them longer than ever, which also means we're probably driving with little and/or even no warranty coverage. And by the way, most of us take our cars for granted, thinking they'll be there anytime we need them. But sooner or later, something will go wrong. Whether it's a transmission, power steering, heating and air conditioning, or an alternator, parts and systems in your car are going to break down. And remember, auto insurance only covers you when you're in an accident. It doesn't pay for the repair costs when your car breaks down. That can cost you thousands. An Endurance Vehicle Protection Plan covers your repairs. That includes parts and labor, the mechanic of your choice, hotel and food reimbursements, all while giving you 24/7 roadside assistance. And that's why we say insurance plus endurance equals total protection.
Call 1-800-299-9326 for your free quote.
Over the years, Ultimate, I've had the privilege of hosting many different people at our home. Politicians of both parties, sitting presidents, future presidents. And the conversation I've always had with them is this: what are we doing for the helpless, the hopeless, the powerless? During this pandemic, some of those doing the hardest work have been treated the very worst. My mission in life and law is simple: for the people, not the powerful. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
This is a tale of two kitties. This kitty uses ordinary litter. This kitty uses pretty litter, the world's smartest cat litter, and it's delivered right to your door. Its ultra-light, super absorbent formula traps odors, and it does something no ordinary clay litter can do. Pretty Litter's color-changing crystals make it easy to monitor your cat's health, helping to avoid serious illness. She's switching to Pretty Litter. Smart move. Try Pretty Litter risk-free for 30 days. When you sign up, get free delivery. Go to prettylitter.com.
America, we want to help you get back to it. With the Ford Promise. Visit your Ford dealer. Finance a new or used vehicle through Ford Credit, and if you lose your job, you can return it for up to 1 year from the day you bought it. The Ford Promise.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
Tonight at 10, the search for a person of interest in the deadly shooting of an 8-year-old girl. A closer look at the chilling surveillance video and the new details we've learned in the investigation.
Plus, safety in the skies during the pandemic. We will show you how Delta Airlines is protecting you on your next flight.
And President Trump weighs in on how public schools should handle learning this school year.
Welcome on this Tuesday night. First, we begin with Atlanta investigators are looking for a person of interest in the shooting death of 8-year-old Secoria Turner.
He was captured on video carrying an assault rifle that night. As Ron Jones reports, police are also looking for multiple suspects.
Chilling surveillance video you can't turn away from. A man in a white shirt and dark pants walking with an AR-15 assault rifle. Atlanta police think he could know something about the killing of 8-year-old Secoria Turner.
I'm confident that somebody knows the name of this male.
Secoria was in a car with her mother and a friend on July 4th when a group confronted them Saturday night on Pryor Road in southeast Atlanta. Someone opened fire, hitting their car multiple times, striking Secoria, killing her.
We didn't mean no harm. My baby didn't mean no harm. Somebody knows something.
You shot and killed a baby. And it wasn't one shooter, there were at least 2 shooters.
APD says this isn't the only person they want to speak to.
So we believe at this point there's going to be at minimum of 3 additional suspects.
Take another look at this video. As we slow it down, he could hold critical clues about the 8-year-old's killer.
New at 10, the family of Secoria Turner surrounded with love and prayer tonight from the community. About 100 people came together for a prayer vigil in downtown Atlanta just 3 days after the 8-year-old was shot and killed. Turner's parents and grandparents showed up tonight as the community prayed and sang and mourning with him. The faith community led the vigil. Members say they want to shine a light over the violence happening in Atlanta over the last few months. Pastor Darrell Winston said the vigil was for Turner and other gun violence victims over that July 4th weekend.
Our city is now resembling killing fields. We're a city under siege. We are in mourning. We mourn with those who mourn, and we're lamenting the rash of killings.
Turner's family still raw with pain. They didn't want to talk to anyone tonight. Very understandable. Instead, they signed a large card in Turner's memory. The city started to clear the Wendy's on University Avenue yesterday. The mayor saying the time for conversation there is over after the 8-year-old was killed. A group of people who have been gathered around the burned out Wendy's for weeks want people to know they have nothing to do with her shooting and they don't condone it. We spoke to a member of the group that calls themselves Ground Zero.
We don't condone none of that. And 2, I barely have some sleep over it because I got 5 girls. And I hope justice gets served. But what I want the world to know that us as Ground Zero, as the ones who've been there, have no interfering with that shooting. And I want the world to know that.
He also says seeing the memorial for Rayshard Brooks taken down yesterday was hurtful. They have been calling for a community space to be built in place of that Wendy's, but so far the owner of the property hasn't commented on what the plans are for the space. The group did admit that at some points people at the site have been armed and blocked roads. Their argument is they don't do this to scare the community. They are trying to protect each other.
New at 10 tonight. We now know the name of the man shot and killed Sunday night while being a good Samaritan. Investigators say that 53-year-old Christopher Brooks was just trying to help another man jump his car. It happened just before 7:30 at the Chevron gas station on Pryor Road, a block away from the Wendy's on University Avenue. At least 2 others were hurt in the shooting. Still no word tonight on what led up to that gunfire. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms says she is opposed to Governor Kemp's decision to bring in the Georgia National Guard. He announced the state of emergency yesterday, activating up to 1,000 troops with the goal of helping police patrol and cut down on violence. Mayor Bottoms says it was not needed, in her opinion.
We have been coordinating with the Georgia State Patrol, which we do on any number of occasions. Law enforcement agencies coordinate, and we provide assistance to them. They provide assistance to us. But at no time was it mentioned that anyone felt that there was a need for the National Guard to come in.
The mayor and her husband have tested positive for COVID-19, but she says she has had no symptoms and still is able to lead the city.
Pattern of rain and sunshine throughout the metro today. Chris, tell us what we can expect overnight.
Well, we're going to see some of those showers that are out there right now. That'll be diminishing overnight. I really think most of us will be dry, but folks on the south side and also in far north Georgia still dealing with some of those heavier showers and a little bit of thunder and lightning. Here in the city, we're doing okay. These showers north and east of the city are showing signs of falling apart, but we still have some of the heavier rain in the southern parts of Fulton County, Coweta County, Fayette County as well. The good news is a lot of the lightning that we had earlier has faded out. We now only have one lightning strike in the past 15 minutes out of this cluster, so that's showing us signs that it is weakening, but still you've got some heavy rain down there. Also some showers moving through parts of Carroll County, Haralson County, and into Cleburne County, just over the line into Alabama. Those are moving down to the south too. In Atlanta, we're fine now. These showers on the north side are weakening somewhat. A couple more developing right there in the eastern parts of Gwinnett, and then some active weather coming in from Tennessee into Catoosa County, Whitfield County, and northwest Georgia with heavy rain and some thunder and lightning there too. But the trend is going to be for the rest of the nighttime hours, these showers are going to start fading out. And it's all moving around that area of low pressure that we've been tracking the past couple of days, keeping us with that moisture-laden air and giving us the scattered showers. Stay with us. We do see the rain chances coming down a little bit over the next few days. We'll break down those percentages for you coming up.
100,000 COVID-19 cases. That's how many people in Georgia have contracted the virus since the beginning of the year 2020. Georgia added more than 3,400 cases today. That is the second largest jump to date. Today's spike highlights that while there was a slight dip over the holiday weekend, the upward climb of our curve continues. Now, some of you have been asking about the rate of positive tests. This is how many people have the virus compared to the number of tests given. It's not an exact science, but this gives you an idea of what is going on. Now, we started increasing our testing in late May, and that is when the rate started dipping down a bit. But as you can see, since the week of June 22nd, when cases started growing, so did the rate of positive cases. Now, that means it's not just more testing causing the spike. The CDC recommends this rate stay below 15%, and right now we are at 10.3%. But as it ticks up, so does the strain on our hospital resources. Cobb County saw the biggest increase today with 225 new cases. The county's daily average is now 4 times higher than it was a month ago. New tonight, Delta Airlines is working to keep passengers safe as more Americans take to the skies during the pandemic. Here is how. The airline is changing its air filters inside the cabin twice as often as recommended. The air is run through heavy filters similar to those used in hospitals, which pulls out more than 99% of particles. On every flight, a new batch of air flows into the cabin every 2 to 4 minutes, so everybody must wear a mask.
Also new at 10, Athens is now the second Georgia city to require wearing face masks in public. The Clark County Commissioner says the mandate passed unanimously tonight. Violators can face up to a $100 fine. This follows Savannah's mask mandate last week we told you about. New tonight, Metro Atlanta schools are deciding on learning styles for the fall semester. This has been such a hot topic. What do you do? One Metro Atlanta County is leaning towards keeping students at home, while another is moving forward with the mandatory mask requirement. Elwin Lopez has the story.
Tonight, as COVID-19 cases continue to surge here in Georgia, school districts are moving forward with welcoming students back. It just might not be in the classroom.
I mean, how do you come back when the data is worse than it was when you closed on March 16th?
Clayton County Superintendent Dr. Morcease Beasley says the district is leaning toward an all-digital learning format to begin the school year this fall.
Right now, we're looking at returning virtually, everyone being virtually, engaging virtually until we get this data going in the right direction.
Dr. Beasley says a final decision will be made in late July. As for Gwinnett County Public Schools, parents can make the choice to send their children back to school or keep them at home for virtual learning. The largest school district in the state held a special board meeting on Tuesday. The board said it will push its start date from August 5th to August 12th. Students, staff, and visitors must wear masks or face coverings. There are exceptions, though, for those unable to wear one for health reasons. The board also decided to cancel in-person graduations later this month.
They're going to cancel the graduation, but we're still going to open the school?
Gwinnett County mom Evelina Ruiz questions the decision. She points out that school starts just weeks after the now canceled graduations.
We have to be concerned of our community as a whole.
We are updating what each school district is doing when it comes to plans for the fall on 11alive.com. President Trump is pushing for students to be back in school. He participated in an event today talking about how to do so safely.
Extraordinarily well. I was with the governor of New York. We hope that most schools are going to be open. We don't want people to make political statements or do it for political reasons. I think it's going to be good for them politically, so they keep the schools closed. No way. So we're very much going to put pressure on governors and everybody else to open the schools, to get them open.
Also at the event today, pediatrician Sally Goza from here in Georgia. She leads the American Academy of Pediatrics, as well as Jeff Bearden, superintendent of the Forsyth County School District. Vice President Mike Pence said the CDC will be releasing several new documents as soon as next week to help offer new guidance. That could include information on face coverings within the school setting, among various other things.
One mother refusing to spread more hate after a deadly weekend in Atlanta. Her message to the person who claimed her son's life.
And posts are spreading online, sparking fears about another deadly disease. Did China really record a case of bubonic plague? We verify in the next half hour.
Live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11 Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Sherilyn Ingram lost her 20-year-old son Joshua during the violent holiday weekend.
The call you never, ever want to get is the call I received. And I cannot express the pain that I'm enduring right now.
Joshua is one of 14 people shot on Auburn Avenue while watching fireworks with friends. 2 of the 14 victims died. APD says no arrests have been made, but this mother, in the middle of her grief, has a message to whomever killed her son.
But you remove a mother's heart. You removed my heart. I don't even know you. You took my baby, but I love you. In my heart, I love you. And I want you to know God loves you too. And you're going to live with Joshua's name on your tongue. You're going to remember Joshua Ingram.
She says that Joshua was a sophomore at Georgia State Perimeter and wanted to be a mechanical engineer.
Calls for U.S. Senator Kelly Loeffler to step away from the Atlanta Dream, the WNBA team she co-owns. She recently wrote a letter to the WNBA commissioner. According to NBC News, Loeffler was explaining her opposition to players wearing Black Lives Matter and Say Her Name slogans on warm-up jerseys. She writes in the letter about the need to take politics out of sports, saying sports have the power to be a unifying antidote. She says she does not support what she calls the Black Lives Matter political movement, saying it wants to defund the police, remove Jesus from churches, and promotes violence and destruction across the country. This has not gone over very well with many current and former WNBA players. The Players Union responded today on Twitter simply saying, "Enough OUT." The league also responded with a statement saying teams and players will continue to advocate for social justice, adding that Senator Loeffler is no longer involved in the day-to-day business of the team. The senator begins a campaign trip across the state tomorrow.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. We're quiet here in the city of Atlanta, but on the south side we have some pretty heavy rain with still some thunder and lightning. Also in far northwest Georgia we have some heavy rain and thunder and lightning moving through. Let's put this into motion. You can see that these showers in North Georgia are moving down toward the south and west. These on the south side have pretty much just developed there and they're raining themselves out. We don't see a lot of motion with those right now. In the city we're fine, nothing inside the perimeter. Let's focus on these as it looks like this is kind of growing a little bit up toward the north, where we have more heavy rain in South Fulton right there at Chattahoochee Hills. Also near Whitesburg, some showers. Also into parts of Carroll County right there on the Douglas County line, just to the west of Fairplay. We've got some heavy rain there. Now these that are in the southern parts of Fulton County, northern Fayette and northern Coweta, we do have some lightning. We have about 4 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes out of this, and this is mainly right there near the county line and right along I-85 where we have some of that heaviest rain. And there again is those showers in Carroll County. Those are pushing down toward the south. They're pretty much south of I-20. We have some showers coming out of Cleburne County with some thunder and lightning along I-20. That's pushing down into Randolph County as well. Not much in the city, but let me take you to the north and east where we have some scattered showers here in Gwinnett County. These on the east side are trying to develop a little bit, as well as this one right on the DeKalb and Gwinnett line. With a little bit of moderate rain. And then these are heavy coming out of Chattanooga into northwest Georgia. We're seeing the lightning count with that come down a little bit, but some heavy rain around Dalton and parts of Whitfield County. That's where we have some of those showers. Elsewhere, not a lot going on, and the trend is going to be that these showers are going to fade out. We've been telling you about that area of low pressure. There's that counterclockwise flow. Take a look at the bigger picture, and let me show you that the feature that this is associated with, that big X right there on the Georgia-South Carolina line, that is the center of that circulation. And that was the system, the area of low pressure that we've been watching since the weekend, that had some tropical characteristics with it. It's been over land for a while and it's traveling through Georgia. It still has to travel through South Carolina, but once it gets out into the Atlantic, the Hurricane Center thinking this has a 40 to 50% chance of development, maybe into a tropical depression or a tropical storm. If it does become a tropical storm, the next name on the list is Faye. So we'll keep watching that as it exits, and that's going to make our rain chances go down once that moves on over to the east. We're still holding at 80 here in Atlanta. We have upper 70s in Duluth and Marietta. Most places are in the 70s outside the city right now. For the next 12 hours, we're pretty much holding those 70s. It's going to be a mild, kind of a muggy start in the morning. Lower 70s, a mixture of clouds and some sunshine once the sun comes up tomorrow. And we'll go with partly cloudy to at times mostly cloudy skies, some sunshine breaking through, getting up to 87 for a high. But we will see some scattered showers redeveloping in the afternoon. That rain chance is going to be at about 50%. Here's a look at tonight. See how everything kind of fades out overnight. In the morning, we are dry. Lunchtime, mainly dry. But then in the afternoon, some of the scattered showers popping up, about a 50% chance for that into the evening. And then going into Thursday, about the same thing. But the rain chance is a little bit lower. We'll go with about a 30% chance for a shower for Thursday and Friday. But look what happens to the temperatures as the rain chances go down. Those temperatures go up back to the lower 90s Thursday, Friday. Also for the weekend, 20% chance for showers, back to 30% chance Monday and Tuesday with those warm temperatures in the lower 90s. Take a look at the weather wow moment for the day. This is from Gary Baldwin in Polk County in West Georgia. As some of those clouds were just starting to build today, and you had some dark bases on some of those clouds where that moisture content was starting to build a little bit more, and that's where we saw a few of those scattered showers. We would love to see your weather wow moment. A lot of times we get these from our 11Alive community storm trackers. That's part of a group on Facebook that you can be a part of. Just search 11Alive Storm Trackers on Facebook, ask to become a member, and you can also see other people's weather information, weather videos and pictures, and you can submit your own there too.
People across the country are pushing to keep working from home even after the pandemic. Up next, why many companies could allow it.
For you, get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today. As offices continue to reopen across the country, businesses are dealing with a post-COVID-19 surprise. Many workers want to keep working from home. NBC's Chris Pallone tells us why many companies are likely to let them.
Of all the surprises of the COVID-19 era, perhaps one of the biggest is how smoothly many American workers have adapted to working from home.
Most people thought that that would not work very well, or there at least were a lot of concerns.
But many companies report the opposite. Productivity is up, and now businesses are completely rethinking what it means to have an office.
Work from home seems to be the way of the future.
In fact, Kinsey found 70% of people say they are as productive, if not more productive, working from home. And a new Wallet Hub survey found that 60% of people say the pandemic made work better. 30% say the office is a thing of the past.
Actually, we're finding it to be a little more lucrative having people work from home than in the office.
Robert Westcott says productivity is up 2% at his company since everyone started working from home. But there are those who look forward to going back to the office.
Me, myself, I would love to go back.
Those people that do miss being in their physical office, they miss their coworkers the most, followed by some sense of routine, followed by just simply getting out of the house.
Consultants like McKinsey & Company are trying to help clients figure out what offices will be like when COVID-19 is finally gone. They say bet on companies leasing less space as more workers opt to stay home. There will likely be fewer offices and cubicles and more unassigned desks, plus more conference rooms and open spaces. So workers can do what they can't at home, meet face-to-face with their coworkers.
Jeff, we both tried it. Look where we are.
You know, I love being at home, but I like being at work too.
Yeah, this was our preference. It really breaks up the day. I like it, and it's always good to see you. Time for me to say goodbye, though. I'm going to see you on Up Late at 11 on 11Alive.
You know, and I had a neighbor every time I was live on the air, might have been passive-aggressive, but the old weed whacker or weed blower would turn on. So.
Yeah, this isn't that profession where we can have that going on, yeah.
Maybe I need to mow my lawn more. Maybe I'm causing trouble over there. All right, thanks. A major ruling from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, what it will mean for immigrant students working for an education. That's straight ahead.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement says that foreign students must leave the country if they are taking online-only classes in the fall. The changes to the Student and Exchange Visitor Program says if a student's classes go online, they must find an in-person program or they have to leave the United States. They won't get their visas renewed for online-only classes. Students who are taking a mixed model of online and in-person classes will be limited to 3 online credit hours as long as they submit a form to the CEVP. Are you following this so far? Students will have the option of taking online courses back in their home country, but cannot stay in the United States and take those same courses. The president is pushing schools to go back to normal in the fall. NBC's Susan McGinnis is following the very latest for us from Washington.
As the U.S. races toward a startling 3 million coronavirus cases, the nation's schools are rolling out plans for the fall, learning tough lessons on keeping students educated but safe.
This is a really crucial time for their social and emotional development.
With outbreaks linked to large gatherings, schools at all levels are wrestling with whether to keep students at home. Princeton, Georgetown, and Harvard universities announcing half or less of students will be allowed back on campus, trying to avoid what's happening right now at the University of Washington, where more than 120 students connected to a fraternity house have tested positive. And as cases soar in Florida, the Education Commissioner ordering in-person learning for all school districts. In Texas, San Antonio schools adding days to the calendar, just like other systems add snow days.
If we have outbreaks at schools where we can shut down a school for a number of days and still make up that time.
President Trump continuing to downplay the risk and insisting schools must open.
We're very much going to put pressure on governors and everybody else to open the schools, to get them open.
The administration warning international students, if your school doesn't hold in-person classes, you'll have to leave the country. That on the same day, Dr. Anthony Fauci warns we're still living through the first wave of coronavirus.
We are still knee-deep in the first wave of this.
While different schools will offer different plans, all students can expect school to look a lot different this year as educators learn how to deal with the pandemic.
New guidelines for Georgia's colleges and universities. The University System of Georgia says beginning July 15th, all faculty, staff, students, and visitors, they have to have a face covering while they are inside campus buildings. This is mandatory in cases where 6 feet of social distancing may not always be possible. It includes the University of Georgia, Georgia Tech, Georgia State, and Kennesaw State. Face coverings are not required in a dorm room or suite, or if you are by yourself in an enclosed office or study room. Those who don't comply will be asked to wear one or leave the area. We have a detailed list of fall plans for Metro Atlanta school districts on 11alive.com so you can track them down easily. Just search for the headline. Work for teachers never seems to stop, and right now many of them are trying to figure out how to tackle either partial or fully remote learning come this fall. Katie Inman is with our sister station in Knoxville, and she shows us how one teacher is building an entire classroom that is virtual for her students.
It's the time of year when teachers start getting prepared for a school full of students. But this year, it's much different. Instead of unlocking a classroom, it's more of opening the computer.
So usually decorating that classroom, but this year I'm decorating my virtual classroom.
This is what second grade teacher Olivia Tapper is talking about. A virtual classroom is just like a regular one, but with a cartoon Bitmoji teacher and interactive lessons linked within a picture.
Students can click on pictures and books and baskets inside your little virtual classroom that'll lead them to any kind of links or websites or their assignments or anything like that.
It's also the students can make a positive adjustment to the potential of online learning in the fall.
That's why we're doing the cutesy stuff, to make it easy for your students. It's fun for us, but it's also we always have your students' interests in mind.
Teachers all across the nation are doing the same thing, and they're sharing ideas in a Facebook group called Bitmoji Craze for Educators.
Post after post after post of people sharing all these different things they're doing in their virtual classrooms, and they're sharing it all for free.
While educators are still waiting on exact plans for what they need to prepare, teachers like Mrs. Tapper will be ready regardless.
My goal is I'm either prepared to be virtual, totally virtual, or I'm prepared to really integrate the technology in my classroom if we're in person.
It is hard to wrap your head around just how contagious any virus is, but when it comes to the coronavirus, people really want to know. So our sister station in New Orleans looked into the measurement scientists use to figure it out.
R0 is a number that represents how quickly a contagious disease is spreading. To understand it, all you have to do is think about the number 1, a single case of coronavirus. If the R0 is above 1, that means every person with the illness is infecting more than one other person. And that means the disease is exponentially increasing. So let's do the math. If the R0 number is above 1, like 1.5, that means each sick person is infecting 1.5 other people. Let's take a group of, say, 100 people, all tested positive for COVID-19. 100 people would infect 150 people. Then each of those 150 would infect 1.5 others. So now 225 people are infected. That group then infects another 337. At that rate, by the 10th generation of the disease, or a little less than 2 months' time, the total number of newly infected people would rise from 100 to 5,766 people. But now let's see what would happen if that number is less than 1, say 0.8. Now, each sick person would pass the disease along to fewer than 1 person. So let's go back to that same group of 100. With the R0 number being 0.8, that group of 100 would only infect 80 people. Those 80 would infect only 64 people. They would only infect 51 people. So after about 2 months, the number of newly infected people would fall from 100 to 11. In a little over 2 months' time, it's all but vanished. The tough part is doing the work needed to reduce the R0 number, and no one is saying the virus will disappear anytime soon, if ever. But experts do say wearing a mask, washing your hands, and staying out of crowds can help the R0 number, and the number of new virus cases get smaller and smaller.
In recent weeks, an advertising boycott against Facebook has been gaining some momentum, and now hundreds of businesses have pulled advertising from the platform, including Target, Starbucks, Honda, Unilever, and many more. Facebook is taking notice, agreeing to meet with boycott organizers, and Liz McLaughlin has more.
Facebook is facing a growing backlash over how the company handles hate speech. Today, Mark Zuckerberg is scheduled to meet with the organizers of an ad boycott against the company that continues to gain traction.
The campaign is growing and going global.
In mid-June, a coalition of civil rights organizations started a Stop Hate for Profit campaign, urging advertisers to stop spending on Facebook's platforms.
Around the world, brands are saying, consumers are saying, this has got to stop.
Now hundreds of businesses have signed on, with more joining every day. Recent additions include Walgreens, Best Buy, Ford, and Adidas. But the financial impact on Facebook's bottom line is questionable. Facebook's top 100 advertisers account for just 6% of its ad revenue.
They have plenty of money. They got plenty of advertisers. I think Facebook has 8 million advertisers. So this is just a drop in the bucket to them.
Still, the campaign has gained the company's attention.
We don't want hate. Our users don't want hate on our platform. Clearly, advertisers don't want either.
Mark Zuckerberg announcing policy changes in a recent virtual town hall meeting.
To crack down on voter suppression and to fight hate speech.
But critics claim Facebook's efforts so far are not enough.
We need concrete, measurable change, and we need it now.
Pushing Facebook to do more as a growing number of businesses and users demand change.
Hundreds of millions of dollars in federal aid for small businesses went to major donors of President Trump's re-election campaign. The Small Business Administration's Paycheck Protection Program provides low-interest business loans. The program has been criticized for a lack of organization and running out of money during the coronavirus pandemic. The Associated Press reporting that close to $275 million from the program went to more than 100 companies that are being owned or run by people who have donated to the president and the RNC. It did not find any evidence the companies received favorable treatment tied to their support for the president. Did Chinese health officials report a case of the bubonic plague over the weekend? We've had our Verify team digging into that story to find out what's going on. Here is Jason Puckett.
2020 has had some crazy headlines, from the current pandemic to murder hornets and sandstorms sweeping across the ocean. Now we're seeing headlines about the bubonic plague in China. So let's verify. First, was the plague found in China? We tracked down this report from a Chinese City Health Commission, and they confirmed that one case of bubonic plague was detected in a rural area of China on Sunday. So yes, we can verify the bubonic plague was detected in China. But second question, should we be worried about a 2020 Black Plague? Well, not really. We checked with the CDC, and it turns out that isolated cases of the plague happen every year. We actually have about 7 cases every year here in the U.S. People typically get the plague from fleas, which in turn get it from infected animals like rats. Now, the plague is serious and can even be fatal, but modern medicine means you don't really need to worry about a 2020 Black Plague. The CDC says human-to-human transmission is rare, and most cases are now treatable with antibiotics. Got other questions for us to look into? Send us an email. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
Those showers on the south side, another batch in North Georgia, pretty stubborn. They're not fading out totally yet. We still have some thunder and lightning with them. We'll track those for you and let you know if we'll see additional showers redeveloping tomorrow.
Major League Soccer already having problems in its bubble with COVID. With games for the MLS's back tournament set to begin tomorrow, we will explain why at least one game won't be played. That's coming up next.
Doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
As of today, there have been more than 100,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases in our state since the pandemic began. The state also announced an additional 3,406 new COVID-19 cases, our second highest day on record. As this graph shows, cases have continued to rise for more than a week, with a record number of daily confirmed cases reported last week. Over the past few days, many viewers have reached out to us frustrated that they have had trouble trying to schedule a test and to get test results. Reveal investigator Andy Perotti spoke to an infectious disease expert about the impact of the state's testing capacity.
The federal government does not have a national testing strategy, which means states like Georgia are pretty much left on their own to do their own testing or relying on private commercial labs. While Georgia has dramatically increased its availability for testing over the past few months, the surge in new cases has impacted people's ability to easily get a test and the time it's taking to get results. Here's some perspective. One of our producers tried to schedule a test in DeKalb County through the State Department of Public Health on Sunday. The soonest appointment available was 16 days away. The state health department's response was simply to try another county. DeKalb County confirmed that the demand for testing is up and that people are showing up prior to their scheduled times, which is increasing wait times. The state says it is maximizing its public labs to get results as soon as possible, but admits private labs are overwhelmed. Some viewers tell us they're waiting 5 or more days for results, while others say they're getting their test results back in 24 hours. We asked Dr. Jay Avarki his perspective on the state's current testing capacity. He's an infectious disease expert at Emory University.
This is the new normal, and I hate that that's the case. I would love to say that we're kind of over the hump or that things will get better. Eventually they will, but we're still at the beginning of this pandemic, and I think that we need to prepare for the fact that when there are these waves, it will strain our lab services.
In your opinion, we do have enough tests in Georgia available?
We do. Correct. But again, if we don't get control of this pandemic, it's going to put strain on all of our ability for testing. And what might appear like a stable supply of tests today may end up being an inadequate supply 1 week or 2 weeks from now.
Andy Parati reporting for us on COVID-19. The U.S. government is now doling out major money for the development of a coronavirus vaccine. Novavax has been given $1.6 billion, an award for testing and manufacturing a COVID-19 vaccine. The money will be for completing late-stage clinical development, including a phase 3 clinical trial that will involve up to 30,000 people. It will also establish large-scale manufacturing of a vaccine candidate with the goal of delivering 100 million doses by early next year.
These showers south and west of the city are pretty stubborn. They are showing signs of weakening a little bit, and then they kind of ramp back up a little bit. Earlier we had only one lightning strike in a 15-minute period. Now we're seeing a little more lightning with that, and it's some pretty heavy rain in South Fulton County, Coweta County, stretching down into parts of Meriwether County too, pretty much down that I-85 corridor where we see some of that heavier rain. Nothing going on in the city right now, but you can see how these showers have been hanging out there for a while, and it's not light stuff. It's pretty heavy. Some of that extends over into Carroll County where we have some lightning there. South Fulton County around Palmetto. This moves down the 85 corridor into Coweta County near Noonan, and then it stretches down right there through the rest of Coweta County, right there on the Fayette County line, and then moving down into Meriwether County where we have a little bit of lightning with that too. On the latest count we have right now about 8 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes with this. So just don't be surprised if you hear some rumbles of thunder and see flashes of lightning on the south side. They're not classified as severe though, and you'll see that they're not really moving that much. They're pretty much just holding together here along that line and dumping a lot of heavy rain. Now in Atlanta, we don't have anything big time going on here right now, but we've been tracking a few showers in parts of Gwinnett County. That now developing there on the Gwinnett and DeKalb County line just north of Verdun near Stone Mountain, where we have a few showers that are developing there as well. They're also drifting down toward the south into the west, and then we've been tracking some of these showers coming out of Tennessee into northwest Georgia. Some of those are falling apart, the ones that were coming through Catoosa County and into Walker County. Dalton, you still have some heavier rain there right along 75 and a little bit of thunder and lightning there too on the Whitfield and Walker County line, but that is showing signs of weakening. But these on the south side should be weakening soon, but they're holding together pretty well. And we've been talking about that area of low pressure, the center of the low, now about to move into South Carolina, but that counterclockwise flow is still keeping a lot of that moisture here into our area. Here's another live look. This is in Coweta County in Noonan. Earlier we were showing this dry as the showers were just to the east of Noonan. Well, now some of that rain has moved into Noonan. You can see the raindrops on the lens of our camera. So here's that system, that area of low pressure right on the Georgia-Alabama line that originated in the Gulf of Mexico. It's been over land, but it's still been strong enough to generate some of those showers around. It's going to travel across South Carolina tomorrow, and then it eventually will emerge back out over the Atlantic. And when it does, Hurricane Center giving this a 50% chance of developing into a tropical system. And if it does, that would be the 5th named storm so far this year. and it would be named Faye. Now, on average, we have about 12 named storms a year. Today, Colorado State University revised their outlook for the year, and they're saying we could see 20 named storms. We would average 6 storms a year, but they're saying we might see 9, and then on average we would have about 3 major hurricanes at Category 3 or above, and Colorado State is predicting 4. So still thinking it's going to be an above average season this year in the tropics. 87 for a high Wednesday, 50% chance for showers, 30% chance Thursday and Friday with highs back to the lower 90s, 20% chance Saturday and Sunday, then back to 30% chance still with those highs in the lower 90s.
Braves summer training is going to heat up beginning tomorrow. The team's scheduled to start simulated scrimmages. Manager Brian Snitker says he isn't looking for his guys to go all out just yet, but things are going to pick up with a beginning with the season opener 17 days away.
Once we start Monday, we're going to have 2 teams. We're going to put out lineups, and guys will, it'll be 3 outs and roll the inning over and a game. Tomorrow it's we're still getting through mainly because the position players aren't ready. I don't feel they're ready for that yet. And I want to be as cautious as I can with them.
All right, not a good start to the MLS is Back tournament. The league postponed tomorrow's game between Nashville and Chicago because 5 Nashville players have tested positive for COVID. Yesterday, FC Dallas withdrew from the tournament after 10 players tested positive. Are you catching a vibe here of how this is going to play out for all sports? I don't think you have to be Dr. Fauci to understand that, that's for sure. Next summer, the city of Atlanta will host a let me backtrack. Next summer, Johns Creek will host a high-profile women's golf championship for the first time at the Atlanta Athletic Club. Maria Martin has the details for us.
On the week of June 22nd of next year, the KPMG Women's PGA Championship will take place at the Atlanta Athletic Club with one of the highest purses in women's golf history, $4.3 million, with $645,000 going to the winner.
So it's returning to Georgia at the largest possible scale. That's going to be cool to see from a network coverage perspective, just to see the game and the women's game being championed in that way.
LPGA golfer Mariah Stackhouse, who calls Atlanta home, couldn't be more excited for the platform this will give women's golf.
My home state in my backyard in the Atlanta area. So that's going to make it incredibly special to me in and of itself. Georgia has such a rich golfing history. A lot of golfers come out of Georgia, men and women.
It's the first ever KPMG Women's PGA Championship to be played in the state of Georgia.
With the LPGA being the highest circuit of professional women's golf, the young women and ladies that play in the state, we haven't had an event come through for us to go and showcase the LPGA talent and professional women's golf. It's going to be incredibly special.
And Stackhouse thinks bringing a women's major to Georgia will help encourage younger ladies to join the game.
Here's Mariah Stackhouse.
I think it's just going to show hey, the game of women's golf is growing. And I hope the end result of that is even more girls signing up and getting interested in playing the game of golf.
If you spend any time around golf courses anywhere in Atlanta Metro, you're seeing how many young women are playing golf. It is booming, it is growing, and that is so healthy for the sport. It is great for young women. What a fabulous sport it is, and that's something to feel good about tonight. We'll take a break. We're back right after this.
For you, get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great
All right, that is it for us tonight. We appreciate you watching as always, and have a great night. Up Late on 11Alive begins in about 2 minutes.
and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we